What is up? I made it. I'm hoping you are actually hearing this. You should be. If you're here, say hi in the chat so I know that you are here and I'm not just talking to myself. Say something. All right, I need to turn on some stuff here and we should be good. You're not getting that. Hey Giovanni, what's up? You getting that guitar there? You should be. Always setting up the bar. Story of your life. All right. Voice is low. All right. Let me see if I can. How's that? Any better? Voice is low. Voice is low. Oh, you know what I can do? I know what I can do. Hold on. Voice is low. Hold on. Check 1 2. So now I'm gonna get feedback though. That's the problem. Check 1 2. Hey hey. Hey hey. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Is that better? Is the voice loud enough? I got the mic right up against me. All right. Hopefully it doesn't feed back. And how's the guitar? Is that all right? I can probably, let me see here. Hold on. I can probably bring the guitar up. That's probably a little too much. Let's try that. What's too much, the guitar or the voice? All right, I'm bringing the guitar back down. Yeah, I can see that it's too much. Hold on. Any better? All right, cool. I am on here today because, and I'm not sure if he's here. Corey, if you are here, just type into the chat a little bit. Corey sent me an email asking, I guess he liked my Bryan Adams tones that I have on the website for the Helix. So he had asked me to kind of go over what I do for that. And to be honest, I really don't do anything for that kind of thing. I just, I don't try to tone match. I just put some amps in and see what sounds good to me. Just base it off of Bryan Adams and Keith Scott used AC30s. They used high watts. They used plexis. They've used all kinds of different stuff in the studio. So I told Corey that I would try to just start from scratch and just build a preset. Again, not a tone match, just a preset to try to get something similar to Bryan Adams and Keith Scott. So I'm going to open up the editor and I'm going to go to, I'll go to a user, well, not that one. Let me find something that has something empty in it or something I really don't care about. Here's an empty preset. Now, because I have this all set up for cable method with my amp, I have to put in. Now you don't have, if you're doing this, you don't have to do this. I have to put in a stereo send. So, and why is that not working? All right, hold on a second. What do I got going on here? Actually, I can just take this out of here. I want to make sure I still have this all plugged in the right way. Let me try to put an amp block up here and see if that picks up any kind of signal whatsoever. I think my batteries are going to run out, so I'm probably going to have to switch. No, the Marshall doesn't stay clean. The Marshall gives me all my tone. What's going out the front is the Helix amps. For some reason, I am not getting a signal. All right, let me try something else here. Hold on. I hate when I have to, let me, those are going out. Bear with me here. This should be able to go send 3-4. Why don't I get any kind of signal here? What's going on, people? Guitar? Oh, that's... So signal's going into my pedal board. It's just not going into here for some reason. You know what I'm going to do to make this a lot easier? Let me go back to one that I know is working. I'll go to this. Alright, so what I'm going to do is actually clear all blocks. I'm going to make this go down to Pat 2A. And hopefully this, there we go. Oh, before I forget, before I start this, let me switch back. I did that Premier Guitar mystery stocking stuffer promotion they did, $29.95, and they send you, you don't know what it is. They get all, it could be a guitar, it could be this, that. I did it 2 years ago, got a bunch of crap, you know, stickers and strings I'd never use, a t-shirt that doesn't fit. It's like playing a lottery. So I tried it again this year, and it was basically a lot of the same stuff I'm not going to use. Like, but the one cool thing was I got a reverb clip-on tuner that they sell for $3.99 on Reverb, but it actually works pretty well. I'm going to put it on and just tune up a little bit here. Who else is on here? There's other people here. Who's on here? So sorry for the tuning noises. And sorry for my my phone going on. And I am tuned down a half step. Always am for my band. Alright, cool. So that tuner actually works good. If you're looking for a cheap clip-on tuner, the Reverb one. No, I don't put the amp models through the Marshall. On stage I like having the actual tube amp tone. It's more for my band because they're so used to, you know, tube amp. I don't mic up the cabinet, nothing. So out of the Helix, I run XLR to front of house, and I have a whole separate path that gets, I mean, the tone I have on stage with the Marshall is kind of, you know, it's similar to what I'm sending out front. What's up, Mike? Firehawk 1500 back from repair. Cool. I haven't turned mine on in weeks. Just no need to. But all right. So what I was saying was Corey, and I don't know if Corey's here. I told him he can watch this later. I know he's at work. He had asked me to try to do some kind of Bryan Adams, Keith Scott preset, kind of off of some of the sound clips I have on my website. So I never save, when I do those clips from my website, I never save the tones because I'm never going to use them again. So what I'm going to do is start from scratch. We're going to start with in the input block, I always have the input gate on. Just force a habit, because when you shut it off and use a high gain amp, you get all that hiss, and I I don't like using noise gates in the signal paths unless I'm going to a real amp with 4-cable method. So I'm going to put a, let's put an amp up here. So for Bryan Adams and Keith Scott, like I said earlier, they used AC30s, plexis, high watts. For the sake of, you know, trying to do this, we're just going to, I don't know, let's try the high watt, and let's put, I'm gonna do this with stock cabs because not everybody's gonna have the same cabinets that I have. So let's do a 412. Let's do a 412 greenback 25. I don't know what that's gonna sound like yet. We'll leave everything as is on the cab. Let's go back to this. I like to always turn the bass down. So it looks like the signal is a little high. Let's pull the channel down. You guys getting that guitar? Hopefully. You know what I want to try to do? Instead of having a second path here, I want to have two completely independent paths. I'm going to put a Send 3/4 up there. So you're going to hear, on this path down here, you're going to hear the clean guitar coming through for now until I put something in there. I want to experiment with using two separate amps on two separate paths. I know there's easier ways to do this, but I want to try it this way. So on this second path, I'm going to put, let's do the AC30, which is the Essex. And again, we're going to use the stock cabs. We're going to use a 212. Let's try the Silver Bell. So if I want to just hear the AC30, I'm going to bring this level on the top all the way down. Oh, thank you, Mike. I'm glad you got it. I sent out like 6 of them or 5 of them the other day, the downloads, and I haven't heard back from the other first person that said they actually got it. So glad you like it. All right, AC30. They don't use a lot of gain either. I'm going to leave everything as is. I'm going to leave the cab as is. Now I'm going to take the volume all the way down on that and then bring the volume back up to 0 for the high watt. I'm not sure I like that high watt. I'm gonna put the Plexi bright. And for now, I'm gonna leave everything at default. I want to put a little bit of reverb. Well, first of all, what am I doing? I'm going to move this up here and move this up here. I always put reverb at the end. I always like using the plate reverb, but not that much. Bring that down. I always turn my reverb trails on. Now, to me, right there, there's too much bass. So I'll usually start with the amp itself. On the Plexi, the bass is always, it's always overbearing to me. Not sounding too bad. Now, what if we took the AC30 and panned it all the way to the left and took the Plexi, panned it all the way to the right? Now, for some reason, I am not getting, let me see. Yeah, I am not getting the Plexi. Are you guys hearing Are you guys hearing the plexi? Because I'm not hearing it. So I'm going to open up my mix control. Yeah, I'm not getting anything here. Hold on. Is anybody alive out there? That's what I'm working on. Is that Corey that just dropped in? So you guys were getting that. For some reason, I'm not hearing it. You know, all right, let's see. Let's go back. Let's try this again. I got the plexi all the way to the right, and well, right now, Corey, I have the AC30. And I'm using the plexi first. I'm just experimenting. As you can see, I've got two separate paths going out. I got one pan hard right, one pan hard left. I like just messing around with stuff like this, just to see. Yeah, I had the high watt in there originally, and it didn't sound all too great. I'll probably just put it back in a little bit, but so like I said, I have the British plexi. I turn the bass down, and I have the AC30. The AC30 is pan to the left. The plexi is pan to the right. I have a little bit of plate reverb, which you're not going to really hear because it's panned. So I'm going to copy it and bring it down. So you should be getting some of that. Turn the mix up. And I also want to move these over so I can add some more stuff. I don't know. What do you guys think of how that sounds so far? You should be able to see the path, Corey. Can you see this? Yeah, I'm gonna add a compressor at the beginning of the chain. Dynamics. The kinky. I find that the kinky compressor, which is the new one, always sounds best at the default settings, which is probably why it's default. I'll put it on both. All right, I'm going to add a little bit of delay. I'm going to do a stereo. And I want to set it for quarter. It needs a little bit of overdrive. I think anyway. I just love the new kinky stuff. That's just adding that in sounds a lot better to me. I don't know what you guys think. I'm gonna double up on this. Now, as I said before, this is one way to do it. 2 separate pats and panning them. I mean, you could do all one big, pat 2A with the dual amps and all that stuff. See, I think that's a little too much. See, that sounds okay to me, but I find when I blend amps, I don't know, they don't sound as good as just using one amp. I'm gonna bring the pans a little bit closer together to see, just for giggles. Still a little funny sounding to me. I don't know what you guys think. All right, Gio, take care. So that's one way to look at it. Just two separate pats. And again, the reason why I have this going out send 3 and 4 is because my Helix is set up in 4-cable method, and I have that routed to the computer here out of the 3 and 4. So usually you would have XLR or multi output or whatever you have. Now I'm going to try muting the AC30, just using the plexi right in the middle. See, to me that already sounds so much better without having that second amp in there. Now, Corey had asked about switching the amp to the 2204 maybe. Let me shut off the overdrive. I'm going to shut off this delay too. I want to hear the tone. Shut off the delay and turn up. Ooh, wow. I don't know about you guys, so whoever's watching still, I like just the 1 amp better than doubling up. So now I'm going to get out of this. I'm going to get rid of all these blocks. I'm going to set this to path 2A. And I'm just going to try to work on something here with just the amp. You know what? Let's try the train wreck. Where is it? The Ingrid, derailed Ingrid. Let's try that with the greenback. Oops. It'd help if I do this first. Here we go. And I need to switch this back, right? Back to 0. and then put this at 0. This needs to be set to none. All right, so that I'm gonna put, like I said, I put the reverb at the end. Stereo plate trails on. Whoever's still watching, what are you thinking so far? Which amp do you think sounds best? I'm going to change that amp to that plexi again. A little too much bass going there, as usual with the plexi. And I also like to sometimes put a low high cut block right after the cab to take out some of the low and to take out some of that high end here, just a little bit. By the way, I am using, let me switch monitors. I am using my usual guitar I use on here, my Mutt Strat. There are no single coils, but it's the best I could do for today. So again, that's the, and this is for Corey trying to get some kind of Bryan Adams, Keith Scott type tone. Not a tone match. I have to keep saying that because there are guys that like to do tone matches. But what's this British? I'm not sure I like that. And that's a little bit too loud there. I mean, what's great about the Helix is that pretty much no matter what I click in here and you play that riff, it's gonna sound good. You know, it's not gonna be exact. You can probably get it exact. I'm not gonna do that, but it sounds good. Too loud too. So you got to watch the levels on some of these. Who's here? I know Giovanni had to leave. Mike, you still here? I know you're playing with your Firehawk. Glad to see that you got it back. Who else is here? I don't know if Corey's still here or if any of this is making any sense to anybody. But, I mean, that's how I go when I do those sound clips on my website. That's basically what I do. I don't sit there for hours and try to dial in a sound. I just throw up an amp, throw up a cab or an impulse response, a little reverb, and I record. You know, I don't go crazy trying to find the exact thing. Sorry, getting email here. That's actually the Cali for Rhythm 2, which sounds pretty good to me. Sounds good. I like that one too. That's I'll switch back to the editor. That's the Cali, the Mesa, and I'm not a Mesa guy. I've said that before. So let's go ahead and switch out the cabinet. Let's see if we can. Let's go with the Cali V30. Not bad. Now Corey mentioned the high watt, so let's go back up to the high watt, or the who watt. I can't remember which one of these cabinets is. Oh, here it is. See, to me, even though those guys use the high watts, that doesn't sound. I actually think the Mesa sounds better. Right there, the Mesa bringing down the channel volume and using. Actually, the greenback sounded good. Corey, you like the high watt? Is that what you're saying? The high watt sounds good? If you like that, I'll go back and switch that back. Go back to the high watt, and I'll switch the cabinet back to the 100 watt high watt cabinet. I'm going to leave that there because you had mentioned something about different tones for different songs. So if we just throw, do I think custom IRs make a big difference? I think it depends on, let me switch back. I think it depends on the tone you're going after. The cabinet, the stock cabinets, to me, when you use them right, I think they sound great. I used them before in some of my demos, and I've used the impulse responses. Yeah, the blending amps is a good idea. I just, for me personally, I think to me it gets too, I don't know, not mushy, but it gets, to me it starts losing like definition because they're almost competing with each other. Let me try the compulsive. That, I'm going to switch back to the editor. That's the compulsive drive with the high watt, which I'm going to bring that drive up and the bass down. Yeah, a lot of these guys blend live. You know what? I'll leave the high watt on here, and I'm going to put in an impulse response so you can hear the difference. I will throw in a V30. Let's try a V30. Let me shut off this. Hold on. To me, that sounds very thin. I don't like that overdrive. I'm just going to use the old tube screamer. I have fumble fingers today, sorry. Yeah, I'm not really digging that. I don't know about you, but I'm not really liking that. Let me try a different IR that I have. You could do that in all-in-one preset with each song snapshots. I mean, it's certainly possible. So you are liking that. I'm going to try the greenback. So that's using a, I believe that's a Selection Creamback 412 high gain, whatever they want to call it. I don't know. They name these things kind of weird, but. So that is with the, we've got a regular tube screamer on there, but I'm going to try the Kinky Boost on there. It's my favorite new overdrive. That's not bad. I'm going to mess with the amp a little bit. It needs more bottom end on it. You need the mids to come through. I'm going to bring the sag down just a little bit. Yep, the amp and cab. That's why I always put, I just put a reverb because I just like hearing that space when I'm dialing in tones. But I will rarely ever use, I won't put delays or any core, anything until, you know, the very end. I'm going to turn that distortion off. So like with this right here, you could just turn off the screamer and you know what I can do? Let me see if this will work. I will put in a looper. I'll put in a stereo looper. I'll put in a looper and I will try to add that onto my board. And we'll just try to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to loop just that little rhythm part for, I guess, what's the song? Somebody, that I just played. So I'm going to loop that, and then I'll go back while that's playing. I'll turn on the overdrive, and I'll try to put the lead over it. So let's see if I can get the timing right on this. Not perfect, but good enough. All right, so now go back here, turn it on. There's a mistake. All right, so now I'm going to try to add over. And if I knew the song and I played it right, it probably would have sounded a little better. But there's a very quick example, Corey, of just using one snapshot or one preset to get. And all I was doing, let me switch the camera back. All I was doing, I'm going to turn off that distortion again, or the overdrive. All I was doing on this guitar, I had my pickup in the middle to get more of a like a bell-like kind of tone, like a Strat, what a Strat should sound with a single coil. So I'm going to add the delay in there a little bit too. We'll do a simple stereo delay, like I did earlier. Take the mix down, just so it's in there a little bit. Turn the trails on. All right, so I'm going to try to do that again. Maybe play it right this time. Not perfect, but enough. I'm adding a gain block after the cab. So when I play this, you'll hear the lead a little better, as opposed to being the same volume as the loop that's going. So let me switch back and we'll get this going again. I apologize if that was that might have been kind of farting out on you there because of using that gain block. If it did, let me know. I don't know who's still here. I got to get going in a few, so hopefully, Corey, I kind of answered your question a little bit. Let me get that gain block out of there. I need to turn down. Oh, let me go back to this. If I turn down, oh, the booster's off. I need to turn the channel volume down. So that's what I have today. Now, it could be what you're looking for. That's how I go about getting, when I do those little sound clips on my website, how I go about getting the tones for that. Usually I will get a tone I like this. I'll track it, and then I'll track it again. And sometimes I go 3 or 4 times. I'll play it different, a little bit different each time. Then I'll just hard pan. If I do 2, I'll just hard pan them totally all the way to the right and left to give you that, most people do that anyway, to give you that big stereo sound. It's time to change these strings on my guitar. These, I don't think I've changed them in a few weeks now, and I usually would change them before every gig. So I don't have a gig for another week and a half, so I'm going to get as much as I can out of these strings, and they kind of sound terrible, but at this point, it's just me. Anybody else have any other questions? We only got a few people left here. I kind of expected that, but Corey, I hope you're watching still. If not, you can watch the playback or replay it later on. But if nobody else has any questions, I'll say good day, good night, good week, and I'll be on again at some point. Like I said before, anybody has any questions like Corey did, email them in and I'll try to get on here and just show you my approach to how I go about using the Helix. One thing I did want to say, I'm actually, from previous streams, using the Marshall JVM, that's over here in the room. I'm actually supposed to be selling it tonight because I've wanted to get the DSL 100, the JCM 2000 DSL 100. I've owned that amp like 3 or 4 times, and it's always been my go-to. I always go back to that amp. And the JVM sounds great. It's just there's too many options on it for me. I only need 1 or 2 channels. So I'm hopefully selling that tonight. I'm supposed to be meeting a guy to sell it, and then I will be purchasing a DSL 100. So which means before my show next week. By the way, my show, if anybody's in Rhode Island area, my band Bon Jersey is playing at Newport Grand Casino upstairs in the band room. Holds about 400 people. Great sound system, great stage. On Saturday night, December 23rd. I don't know if we start at 8 or 9. I would get there by 8 if you plan on going. It's a free show. You don't have to pay to get in. You can have dinner there, do a little gambling, de-stress from all the holiday shopping, and just come hang out. You get to hear the Helix going through the system. So, but yeah, I will have hopefully we'll have a DSL by then just for my stage sound. And I'm going to have to reprogram all my presets because they're all set up to channel switch this thing, which is via MIDI. So I'm going to have to start over. Seems like I'm always doing that. But anyway, time to go. I will say see you later, and I'll get back on here at some point, hopefully before Christmas. If not, have a good one, and I'll be on soon. See you later. Goodbye.